Hey guys, welcome to NAB Show Live 2015. I'm Callie Lewis.
And I'm David Foster.
It is day, what, 4, 3, 5,
It feels like
7?
day 10. I mean, I seriously, it just feels like every day is 2 days.
Right. But we're having such a great time here at NAB Show, hearing from all sorts of cool exhibitors, seeing new technologies, really wondering where the money in our wallet's going, that's for sure, because we want everything that we see.
Yeah. You know, and oddly, I feel like I have to sit up straight right now, like, because I'm sitting next to a general. So I feel like
General
my posture is my posture okay?
No, it's terrible.
Not,
is it really?
Actually,
Man.
sit up straight. Put your head back.
Okay.
Oh gosh,
Okay.
I feel very like under inspection at the moment.
I can tell you where all your money's going because today's April 15th.
Oh, that's
Oh,
right.
that's true.
It's going to the United States government.
I
and
got
too
a
much
call
of it is
from
going
my
to the
CPA
government.
Yes.
this morning.
Yeah,
so
there you go.
that was exciting stuff.
Yeah, I always delay mine, you
Yeah.
know, just to push the status quo.
Don't say that too loudly. We are live, you know. So, Lieutenant General Flynn, you have spent 10 years in the as a general.
3.5 decades, yeah.
3.5
10 years as a
decades.
general, yeah. 10 years
In the
as a general.
intelligence industry,
Right.
And so, talk a little bit about you. You said you were head of the SEAL team, and
I was the Chief Intelligence Officer for SEAL Team 6 and Delta Force for a period of my career, and all the way up to the Senior Military Intelligence Officer for the government, for the Department of Defense. That's the last job that I just had, was I headed up our Defense Intelligence Agency, and that's about 20,000 people in 142 countries around the world. Great organization.
Wow.
And they do a lot for this country.
And so what did your job entail? Like, just like lay it all out for us.
Yeah, it entailed telling the truth, you know, tell the truth. I mean, no, you know, not to be, the thing about intelligence is intelligence has to be truth to power. And sometimes, most of the time, most of my jobs, I've always brought the bad news into the boss, you know.
Oh, that's always fun.
Yeah, and I've done that, you know, I did that for 3.5 decades. And it's fun. I actually enjoy doing that because I like to see the expressions on some of my bosses,
you
know,
like
in the
making
morning,
people
because they kind of look at me
uncomfortable.
like, Flynn, what the hell's the matter with you, you know? And so anyways, but that's what it entails. It entails making sure that we are doing everything we can to protect this nation, to be able to do the kinds of things that you see being done at a conference like this, or to even have a place called Las Vegas. And this is my first trip out here, so it's pretty
Is it really?
Yeah, it is.
Wow.
It really is.
Didn't get out much, huh?
Wow, no, not much at all. No. So pretty deprived childhood, you know. Now I'm growing
Right,
up.
I don't
so.
think you're supposed to come to Vegas as a child. I don't
well,
think that's really the
I think
key
most
here.
people actually are when they hear.
Yeah.
So at least from everything that I've seen in the last 12 hours since I've arrived last night. So.
Well, and one question that comes to my mind is, what is a general doing at NAB?
Yeah, so really important. We are, and one of my passions is to try to help companies around this country understand how to recruit and hire veterans. So the veterans that we have, and we'll do another session this afternoon at about 4 o'clock. That's civilian time, so 1600 for any of the military. But we are really in a place today where we have probably one of the most technically savvy, some of the best problem solvers that I've ever worked around. We have a military that is 40 years into being an all-volunteer force, so you have some really passionate, committed, dedicated people. And everybody always says, well, when you
appreciate everybody.
yeah, well, and it's nice,
and
that's good. And so what we need to do is we need to get the private sector to understand how can we help them translate these skills of these men and women that are coming out of the military to be able to use them in this really high-tech world. Because I will tell you, the young people that we have in their 20s that may only spend one term in the military, and they've been deployed, and they're great leaders and all that kind of stuff, the level of technical training that they've received, it translates very well, particularly into an industry like this, which is high-tech.
And my father was actually in Vietnam, and he was a radio operator.
Yeah,
and
awesome.
when he got out, he had to go into a factory job. He couldn't, he did some education afterwards at some of the bases, but he couldn't really get a job to further that career. So
Yeah, so one of the things, and you know, my last job, I was the director of the Defense Intelligence Agency. I kind of described what that was. And even inside of the government, we had to create, in our human resources office, we created a small team, 2 people, and their sole focus was to reach out to the veterans community. Even though we're in the government, it's that difficult for some of these great young men and women, particularly the young men and women that are in their 20s and 30s, that, you know, joined the military, served the country, you know, did some amazing, courageous things, and now they're back out. And I will tell you, they are some of the most technically savvy people that we have. You know, no matter what kind of skill they got, they have to have a level of sophistication, particularly in the high-tech world, because we are such a technically savvy military these days. So.
Well, what if you're having to push for this effort, right? What are the challenges, and why is it not easy for them to get jobs in this environment once they get out?
Yeah, and I think that's a great question. I mean, I think the thing about the veterans community, for those that are listening, one, there's a lot of different groups that represent veterans, and so the easiest way, and I have been out speaking to CEOs. I'm going to speak to another group this Friday, essentially about this issue down in Orlando. And in some cases, your human resources department has to recognize that you have a component of America out there that is already trained, already demonstrated a level of dedication and problem-solving ability and passion. And they're actually looking for places to go. They don't mind moving. Very, very mobile type of individual.
Kind of used to that, aren't they?
So I mean, so what we've got to do is we've got to get the private industry to recognize that they have to do some things, take some steps inside of their organizations, and then those veterans organizations that we do have, who we are talking to them as well, they have to help us translate on resumes and things like that. So it's not, so you don't just become some keyword search. You're actually, you know, you're actually a human being, and you show you've got this kind of skill and capability. And I think from a government perspective, like we hired 25 wounded warriors as an example in this past year, you know, and in the government we have you know, priorities for hiring. So a wounded warrior is #1 priority, a veteran's #2, and then on down.
Okay.
And I think that for some companies, if they set priorities in their organizations to at least have somebody wake up every day in their company and worry about, are we doing enough to hire these people? Because they're out there, and there's some really, like I said, I mean, I work with them, I know them, they're incredibly talented people.
Do you think that, you know, with organizations, the human resources departments having to set those priorities, and you say wounded warriors are top priority, let's just be completely, since you like the truth, let's be completely honest. Are there people out there, companies out there, who don't want to, you know, go for the wounded veterans?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I have not met anyone.
Okay.
I mean, if they didn't want to tell me the truth, that's their problem.
I mean, I guess I was just wondering if
I have
there's
not met anyone. I think what I find is I find people that, you know, they say, yeah, we'd love to, but we just don't know where to go. You know, where do we go? And there's local, state level organizations. I mean, I think part of it is you have to have somebody in your organization that actually lives and breathes this kind of an issue, and you know, and for a period of time, because we are going to have a fairly large segment of our technical workforce that is coming out of the military, and that's always been the case really since post-World War II. And well, you know, so it's
and sometimes people don't. I mean, it's raising awareness because some people just don't know that that's even an issue, or that people are available.
Yeah, so we're out. So we're out and about doing. Bless you. We're out and about doing these different things, and trying to get the word out to, you know, conferences like this, and I just think it's really important that, you know, I appreciate the time. I appreciate being able to do this, and getting the word out. And I think that you cannot go wrong when you hire a vet. They will, from my experience of watching them operate in some of the most complex, difficult situations that a human being can be put against, you're not gonna, you won't lose any sleep hiring a vet. Yeah. They will definitely bring value to your company, your organization, your team, your network, whatever it is that you do. And I think it's that important that we you know, kind of keep pounding the table about them.
And so where do they go to learn more about how they can and tips and all of that?
Right. Well, there's different, clearly you can go to you can Google veterans organizations, veterans.com. There's different at the city and state level. There are different organizations, and I would say that we really need to just make sure that we get the word out on as many places as we can. And we're encouraging those vets that are transitioning. We are encouraging them, and we're bringing them into different places around the country with us so they can also tell their story as well. Because, sometimes to hear from a general, it's like, generals talk about, stupid things. But to listen to the stories of some of these people who are actually, they're incredibly capable, but they're having a tough time finding a job, and you just kind of go, wow, that shouldn't be the case.
Yeah.
We should have some type of prioritization to at least look at them and recognize what they can do for you as an organization. Do they bring value? And then try to help them get a job.
Well, and you're speaking on that this afternoon, right?
Yep.
At room 239 in the North Hall at 4 o'clock p.m.?
Yep, 4 o'clock, 1600, room 239 North, whatever that is, LVCC, yeah, IVCC.
Las Vegas Convention
Las
Center.
Vegas
Yes,
Convention
that's
Center. That was the first time in Las
here.
Vegas.
Yep.
So.
And that's the second annual.
And happy hour right after it.
Oh.
Yeah. Happy hour right after it.
The second annual Military Veterans Outreach to Industry Symposium. That
Yeah.
was a mouthful. I had to read that.
Yes.
Yeah, great. Thank
Thank
you so
you.
much.
So
Yep.
I have a
Really-
question,
oh.
though. I'm collecting access badges.
You're busted.
And I just wanted to know if I can get access to Area 51. Is that something you
Area 51, yeah, you could actually get access to Area 51.
Oh.
Just make sure you wear those glasses, get a couple more tattoos,
Okay.
and maybe wear a funny hat or something.
Okay, I got
Wait,
one.
what
and they'll let you in.
constitutes a funny hat?
Huh?
What constitutes a funny hat? Like, does it have to have bells on it?
Anything, yeah,
And
anything.
is
It's got, probably should have some metal reflectors.
And is it funny to the person at the gate or funny to me? 'Cause
Funny to the people that are watching you.
Okay.
All right, coming up
That's
later
right.
today,
All right, thanks,
we'll get
Matthew.
him dressed up in that outfit and see what happens.
Yeah, it's good. Yeah,
Thank
thanks,
you
pal.
so much.
Nice to
We
meet
really
you.
appreciate your time.
Thanks. All right.
Lieutenant General Flynn, thank you guys so much for hanging
Thank you.
out with us. And there is lots more to come. If you have questions or thoughts about what Mike just spoke about, we would love to hear it. Be sure to use the hashtag NABShow on Twitter, Google+, Instagram, everywhere.
Yeah, everywhere. And you actually end up on our tag board, potentially, if Ken approves it. And it's a clean image.
Exactly. So thank you so much for joining us. We will be back for more. Stay tuned.